Why, hello there, metalworkers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story. Episode 6, Many Tools. So where a prospecting pick would come in handy is when you think you're kind of done, because like I could be done. There might not be copper left here. A prospecting pick on its local search can just tell you how much copper is left. So if it's like minuscule amounts, you know, oh, okay, I should probably stop searching because there's just not a significant amount of copper left around here. But if it's like verified medium amounts, then yeah, you should probably keep looking around because there's a decent vein of copper that has been left to yet unexplored. So my plan right now is this. Make a prospecting pick mold and make another copper pick, and then get 2 bronze. All the while, maybe laying down an initial base location. I just don't think it's like super necessary to commit to building a base until you have some technology to actually put in it, right? Like I don't have stuff worth saving at the moment. So that will be what I do. Also, I would say, as much fun as it is to like go into the Copper Age, if you neglect farming, you're screwing yourself long term. And the reason is obtaining the food required to survive a winter without having to do like an insane amount of hunting, you know, or something like that, or foraging, is pretty onerous, pretty labor intensive. And then also, you're probably not going to just randomly find wild flax enough to really enter the mechanization age, which is windmills and helve hammers and pulverizers and automated quarns, unless you start farming the flax yourself. Because unless you're buying the flax, or like you just happen upon a field full of wild flax and it's like an immense amount, you probably need to plant flax. There's not really a case where you're going to be like, oh, I'll just forage for my wild flax. Like that's kind of madness as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, starting a farm sooner or later and making an honest search for making an honest attempt to try to find more Terra Petra, the really good the good soil would be wise. All right, so yeah, you can see the yield of copper from what I just did. This is a lot of copper for pretty early on. The other thing that I've neglected, which I'm going to have to do, is I'm going to have to make charcoal. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast a... I'll work this right now. I'm going to make a mold for an axe and a mold for a prospecting pick. Because without getting a lot more charcoal, I'm not going to be able to do a lot of smelting. That's going to be a big bottleneck. So getting a pretty good charcoal burn is also going to be pretty important, I think. And in order to do a big charcoal burn, I'm probably going to want an axe to cut down the trees that's made of a metal, not made of flint. Or it's going to take me forever to get the requisite charcoal. So sorry, Team House. I know you voted for a house, but it just doesn't make all that much sense at the moment. Now, once you have an anvil, molds become a little bit more obsolete unless it's molds for clay bowls and vessels and the like, because you can just take an ingot of metal and hammer it out into the tool that you want for most tools, for most things. So axe and prospecting pick. Here's my ingots. I'm just going to leave this stuff here, right? Like, I don't have storage. That's the anvil mold, bowls, another crucible. So let's get this fired up. Before night falls, so that it makes progress in the sleep. And I can try a very small charcoal burn, but I don't think that that makes much sense until I have the axe, personally. And then another insanely useful tool, as Vinegar in the chat says, is a saw. So one of the reasons to go anvil really early on is you can't make a saw blade out of a mold. You have to smith it on an anvil. And saw blades open up boards. It opens up wood. So without saw blades, you aren't going to really be able to use wood as a building material. But because I know where tin is, I can just go straight to the bronze anvil, which is going to probably save me a lot of effort and time in the long run. Alright, this time let's use peat to fire these up. Where's this sit on the immersive versus involved tedious spectrum? I don't find it all that tedious. Once you really enter the copper age and you have copper tools, it gets a lot less tedious to find the nuggets. It does get a little tedious if you have bad luck to try to find subterranean metals. That much is true. But it's not intolerable. Alright, so for this crucible, I only really want enough to make... Here, let me put these molds outside. So I'm going to want a 300. I don't need another hammer. What I want is a... Well, maybe I'll do another hammer, just in case. So I'm going to do pickaxe, hammer, prospecting pick, and axe. So 400 copper. And I'm really relying on this brown coal to do a lot of heavy lifting. What I should do is I should wait for the molds to be done before doing the crucible firing. So I'm going to hold off on that. So one of the reasons I collected the clay is then I can take all these little chunks of stone and make cobblestone out of them. So here is 64 cobblestone, which I can use to start to lay a foundation for a real home, not a stupid hole in the hillside like I'm some sort of hobo hobbit. So you guys wanted me to live near the land bridge down here by popular vote. Let's get that done. I could use the peat to heat it up a bunch of the way, and then throw the coal in for the last little extra boost of heat. Yes. So I kind of wanted like a stilt house, but given that I have cobblestone, I think I'm gonna go cobblestone base. Anyway. Sort of out of, like, convenience. I don't know. Man, maybe I'll have you guys vote. What material should I build out of? Now, my blacksmith, my smithy, is going to need to be, like, stone-based, so it's not flammable. But I'm talking primarily. And I'm not like I'm not a great architect. It's not going to look sexy. I don't want to spend the required time and energy to make it look amazing. It's just going to get the job done. So if you're wondering about that, now you have your answer. Ooh, I see some turnips, I think. Yes, indeed. Alright, I am losing daylight. Before I fully lose more daylight, I do a little foraging. See what I can find. Because that opportunistic meat stew that I made is not going to keep me forever. So maybe I'll make a mushroom and turnip stew or something next. I'll eat some currants. So I am getting my vegetables and my fruit. If I find like a bunny, I'll try to hunt it for meat. Oh yeah, there's a bunny. Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. Throwing spears does more damage than poking. But I find it easier to hunt with a bow, although I don't have one. That would be another reason to rush anvils, is once you get a saw blade, you get access to making, like... Where's my spear go? To making proper bows. Whereas, like... Oh, there it is. Where crude bows, the bows that you get right at the start. Oh, native nugget bits. It doesn't do a lot of damage. Although they can be effective, especially if you have a height advantage that animals can't get to you. Alright, you guys voted primarily stone. I'm just going to resolve that now. And start to lay out, like, roughly where I'm going to build. And I think what I want to try to do is to have a home that acts as like a tunnel of sorts. Where I live, like, on a bridge home. But maybe not like a bridge that's elevated, exactly. More like, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I'm sure it'll be ugly. I'm just gonna put some basic cobblestone here. Now, whether or not I go, like, slab meta, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to bother doing that or not to fight against this storm. But I don't really want to explain that until it becomes more relevant to the situation. I don't want to... I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, because this game is already complex as it is. So explaining mechanics that are not relevant is just ultimately, I think, confusing to people. It makes for bad information. Bad entertainment. Or infotainment. So having a dock, having a private water area, like if I put fencing here and here, where like then it goes straight to the water that is not accessible to enemies, would be kind of nice. So that I have water access without enemies having combat access, in other words. So maybe that's one feature I will try to incorporate. And yeah, it's a weird use of the pick to break it down like this, but that's another thing. Once we have more soil and more seeds, starting a farm with maybe the idea that the farm will eventually be a greenhouse would be a good idea. But here is, like, if I had a roof over this, these walls are like 1.5 tall. So if I ran these walls out here and put a fence gate here, enemies couldn't get in, but I would have like a view, you know, and access to the water that monsters wouldn't be able to interrupt. Yeah, they don't look bad. They're pretty decent. Little cobble fencing. Alright, it's getting kind of dark. So I ought to start to mosey on to get sleep. And yeah, I can have it overhanging so that no enemies are going to be able to get in here. That's the idea. Once more effort has been made. So, design ideas. In terms of what a room is, there's only a few room types in this game. There's like an enclosed space, which would be a room. Your enclosed space can be without like sun, which makes it a cellar, which is good for preserving foods. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide. So cellars are really good for preserving food. Then you can have a room that has a lot of glass ceilings, and that would be considered a greenhouse, which is good for growing. A greenhouse will warm the crops grown in it by 5 degrees Celsius. And what that allows you to do is allows you to expand the growing season a little bit, so that you can grow crops later into the autumn and winter than otherwise you would have been able to. And alternatively, it allows you to grow out of biome crops. So like during the summer, I could be in a temperate biome and grow like more tropical crops. So that's the benefit of the greenhouse. On survival difficulty, there's no underground farming. That's disabled. So I'm not going to be able to grow underground. But if you have that enabled, you can use artificial light to grow underground. But yeah, growing a greenhouse would be a nice goal for me. Like setting up a greenhouse farm kind of concept and area. Something I want to work on at some point. Oh, I'm out of space. Let's do a few more of these. Oh, no, those are fences. Yeah, you can sort of see how it's shaping up. And I'll probably put the actual walls here. And there's going to be a lot of terraforming required to make this truly livable. But through effort comes the rewards of feeling accomplishment, fulfillment. Because I have a lot of these cobblestones, I'll start with the, like, balcony. There we go. Some basic foundation, because you all voted that I should do a little building, and I kind of didn't do it, because I got tied up with other things, so it has formally been started. And I already have the red marker for where it is centered upon. You know, I don't really have use for low fertility soils, so I'm just going to toss them in the water. So yeah, I don't need to mark it down. And you can see my pit kilns. It's pretty easy to figure out where I live, huh? It's glowing from a distance. Yeah, you like the star map? And the moon phase? Alright, so those things are still burning. I forgot I had so much granite gravel, too. You know what? Let's get rid of this giant stack of granite gravel. Because I have very limited storage space, and that will change as I get an anvil. I need to be cognizant of, like, what I pick up. Like, I don't need random wide flowers. Just plop them on the ground. So anything I don't need to hold on to, I shouldn't. So I kept 2 gravel just so that I could enclose my home. All right, so forget the crucible for now. Crucible is going to go in the storage pot. Let's eat. All right, so we still have another serving of this, but I'm going to cook up the next food before going to sleep. So we'll do turnip stew with hefty turnip stew with red wine cap. Doesn't sound too bad. Actually sounds pretty good. And that uses the majority of the things I foraged. I didn't use the grains, but that's fine. And I am going to shove everything that I don't have room for in my vessel here. I should probably fire up another vessel at some point because they're really, really good for storing foods. As like these turnip, this rye grain is fresh for 6.3 years. And the turnips are fresh for 105 days in here, which is in a cellar in a storage vessel. I mean, it's pretty damn good. All right, and the pot is already done. I'm going to stick the pot in there so it keeps as well. And then we'll grab the crucible out and have ourselves a rest. So current priority now is to forge tools and then go get tin. How long is winter? It depends on your server settings. I think by default it's... I forget, you'll have to look it up. It's something like, I don't know, like 15 days. I'm making it up. It's not 15, but it's something like that. I don't need low fertility soil. Those are not done yet. Got it. My pile of low fertility soil. I don't think I'm going to go for the tin right now. I could get it right now, but the thing about getting the tin right now is, like, my pick is probably going to break, and then I would have to make 2 trips. So I'm just going to get a little peat for a fuel source. Like, you know, try to be productive around here. The other thing that might be wise is for me to look for Terra Petra and do some foraging. So maybe that's what I'll do right now. While I wait on the last 2 tool molds, I will do some fertile soil searching. Replay to the game? I don't have enough experience to confidently answer that, sorry. Alright, so current priority is forage and look for fertile soil while the molds fire. I mean, I guess the replayability of this game is going to be... The answer is going to be somewhat similar to, like, the replayability of, like, Minecraft, where it takes a very long time for you to, like, get fully teched up in this game. But once you're fully teched up, there's not probably too much left to do unless you want to, like, raise the difficulty or change the server settings or add mods. But there's a lot of mods to the game, so if you're willing to mod and you like game mods, then there's going to be a lot of replayability. Whereas if you want it vanilla and you're not willing to mod, there's going to be limited playability, but still a lot of gameplay to be had. Because it takes a very long time to, like, get up to the steel age. So if you see fertile soil... Oh, now it's raining. If you see fertile soil, where, like, the bottom half of the soil is, like, black rather than brown, that is the stuff I'm looking for. And then while I'm out here, I'm also looking for just any plants that I can harvest which will yield seeds, so that I can start farming. The really important ones would be root vegetables, because they keep pretty good for winter, and then also grains. I'm not going to worry too much about fruits, because I don't have... They're going to spoil before I can really use them. Now, in my playtest, when I was, like, learning the game, I did manage to find a lot of terra petra, which is the really good soils. And I'll show you what it looks like here. So this is what terra petra looks like, where it's really darker. But it's pretty rare stuff. And it's probably easiest to spot in the grasslands where I am, because it will stand out looking at the, you know, anytime there's a Z level up or down, you can see the soil type. But while the molds cure, I think it makes sense to look for it, because it's pretty vital. You can make your own fertile soil. Well, that's a cool little land bridge. You can make your own fertile soil, but it's not as efficient as terra petra. And if I'm going to go to the efforts of, like, firing a whole bunch of glass in a bloomery to get glass, and then make a greenhouse out of it to grow and expand my growing season, it makes sense that the soil I grow upon is going to be the good stuff, the terra petra stuff. And though while I'm out here, you know, there's also a chance to find flax and spelt and rye and onions and turnips and ruins and all sorts of good stuff. Exploration is part of the heart of the game, right? A lot of animals. Unfortunately, no animals trying to eat me. What tech level does this go to? Steel. Steel and then, like, for lack of a better name, magic. So if you check here, you can see, like, night vision goggles and, you know, teleporter terminuses and, right? So there's... functionally steel, but then, like, steel into the sort of magic realm. Alright, there's rye there. The stuff I'm really after is flax, though. If we find more flaxseed, that would be amazing. And in my limited experience, limited anecdotal experience, each terra petra patch is something like 15 to 20 soil, where it's like a greenhouse is probably going to be 24 soil. It'll be a 5x5 with a hole in the middle for water. So... you know, 1 or 2 terra petra nodes is going to be enough to fuel a decent greenhouse. And, like, one player, if they preserve their food and they put it in the cellars and in storage vessels, probably could, like, roughly live off of a single greenhouse, provided they're doing hunting and other foraging on the side. All right, I'll mark the fire clay. Why not? And there's another trader right over there. The room sizes are... regular rooms are limited to, I believe, 14 by 14 by 14. So they can be pretty vast. Generally speaking, I don't think you're going to go 14 high. So as long as you're not 14 wide in either direction, that's pretty generous size. Greenhouses and cellars, however, are more restricted. They're restricted to 5x5 and for the cellars, 5x5x5 for the cellars, and I don't know what it is for the greenhouses, but it's not enormous either. Well, I am going to start working my way, because as you can see, I've really wandered pretty good distance. I'm going to start working my way. I'm going to do like a U shape and work my way back home. I have not found Terra Petra. I have found a bear that's on my butt right now. Oh, he's eating me. Please, sir, don't eat me. If I died here, it'd be a lot easier to get back to my body. Oh, there it goes. I'm dead. Torn limb to limb. It outran me. It's not going to be too hard to get back to my body. Because I was in, like, open grasslands. Whereas, like, before, I died, like, in the forest. In forest, like, just like this one. Where, like, trying to get back to my body was obnoxious. Ooh, poisonous mushrooms. Yep, bears suck. I didn't see it beforehand. I clearly wandered into its territory, and it decided to nibble me to death. Oh, more fire clay. Wow, fire clay is, like, pretty common in this map seed. Generally speaking, fire clay is about 5 times less common than blue clay. Fire clay is the stuff that you need for steel making, to make fire bricks, refractory bricks, and also it's needed to make clay ovens for baking, whereas blue clay can't do that stuff. So the fact that I'm finding so much fire clay is good, I guess, if we ever make it that far to steel. You know, if the bears would start leaving me the hell alone. I'm just so tasty. I don't blame them. I'm just a tasty morsel. Very defenseless, tasty morsel that they can nom on. Obnoxiously. But yeah, the clay really sticks out like a sore thumb on this biome. Very easy to spot. Which would also mean that the Terra Petra would be pretty easy to spot in this sort of like... This isn't where rice... Oh, Jesus. Rice does exist in this game, but like, obviously not where I am right now. Not in this biome. Rice is a warmer biome. But this is kind of like rice paddy-esque terrain layout. You got your, oh, there's a bear right there. This is like terraced soil. So for those with a lot of experience in the game, how frequently do you happen upon Terra Petra? Like, are you surprised, or rather, I'll rephrase that. Are you surprised I haven't seen it by now, or is this a typical experience? Because I don't have enough anecdotal experience in the game. Hours logged. More common in the rainforest biomes? Yeah, I could always venture towards hotter biomes if I deem it necessary. At that point, I would probably wait for it to be a voted goal for me to work on agriculture, because that would be pretty committal. I don't want to commit to something that isn't voted on like that. Yo, Jerkface, can you not camp there? I think I have everything. Berries, bowl, pick. Pick's the big one. Alright. Let's delete that rip marker. And I'll start working my way back home, but not retracing my steps, so I keep scouting on my way back. goes the last of my meal. Ooh, a ruin. Bony soil. Oh, God! Ow! Double go. Oh, God. Curse off! Got him. There's more over there. That was, unfortunate. I want to get out of here. I know I can loot him, but, like, I want to get out of here as my top priority. I'm trying to get dirt to be able to climb out. Alright. Going for the loot. Empty. Yeah, that's what I figured. I didn't really dig straight down. I dug straight diagonal, but then wasn't cautious about where I was standing. Not to say that you're wrong, I shouldn't have done it like that, but I wasn't standing over the hole that I was digging. Alright, let's make another shovel. So, that was the first drifter fight. They're really not that hard to kill once you have, like, some basic metal tools and, like, some basic armor. I'm naked, so they're a little bit tougher. You wouldn't want to fight many of them naked, like I am. Come on, bony soil. Don't do that to me. Do I have to build under you? I'm gonna let that soil go. I don't want to go down there. High risk, low reward. Oh, and there's the vessel. Claystone and... oh, poultices. Well, you know what? I happen to be hurt right now. These are linen poultices, though. They're kind of higher quality. The poultices I was making before were horsetail ones. Alright, well, without lollygagging anymore, let's make our way home, because I am running out of time. And the last thing I'll do is I'll do the, oh, 2 little fox kits. I'll do the tool making. Leave on a high note. Never ended up getting the 10. That look like a mausoleum? Yeah, maybe that was... it kind of looked like a church, and it was like the burial grounds of a church or something. Some of the buildings have like a style that is kind of identifiable. Like, I've seen some ruins that were very clearly kitchens with like chimneys. I've seen some ruins that were like arenas, like amphitheaters, you know, with step seating and you know, some that were very clearly like church-esque buildings because it has like steeples and stuff like that. There's definitely thematic ones that and they're pretty cool. I actually found tin deposits. I've found proper tin deposits near where I built my home. I wasn't close enough to determine if they were rich or poor or whatever, but it's probably enough tin to get at least a bronze anvil out of, because you don't need too much tin for a bronze anvil. Like 20 or something, right? I don't know the exact amount. Like 25. And the other thing I haven't done, mostly because I'm naked, is I haven't like gone cave spelunking, which is a pretty good way to get rusty gears, to kill drifters. Surface drifters are like the easiest drifters, and then as you descend, the drifters get harder and harder and harder. So when you're looking for rare ores that are in lower into the earth, you definitely have to be ready for tougher fighting, as that's like sort of the technological and game progression. Looks like the molds are done, so let's go fire up the copper we got. Yep, molds were done. Nice. Oh, Yoda. Killing me, dude. So there's the 4 that we want. I feel like this is kind of like Fifth Element with the symbols in the square. So let's try to do the heating up with peat and then the finishing it off with brown coal. So I want to get it warm enough so it will melt again, and then I want to pour it and then add to it. So I'll try to get everything in order. Brown coal's in the inventory. Peat's in the inventory. Copper. And the thing is, I don't want to use up all my copper. I want just to use just enough of my copper so that I can save the rest for like an anvil. Alright, where's my tongs? There they are. Come on now. This is just about at Pete's max temp. Switching over to brown coal. And then I want to try to conserve as much brown coal as I can. Because I have not made charcoal yet. And I want the copper axe to make charcoal to save myself the effort. Alright, should be liquid any second now. There it is. We'll pour this into the pick. So that was 65, so I need... Oops, I'm doing that wrong. So 35... plus 100... plus 100... plus 100 is exactly how much I need for the tools that I have down. Because this already has 65 of the 100. So, as soon as this melts, we will have all 4 tool molds set up. And I still have a pretty decent amount of copper left over, as you can see. I have 128 plus 16 left, untouched, that we don't need for this tool run, so I'm going to leave them out. And as soon as this turns, as soon as this melts, I want to pull the brown coal out so I can conserve brown coal. Once we're making bulk charcoal, and I have hundreds of it, I can be less economical. I mean, still, you don't want to have to constantly be making charcoal. You shouldn't waste this stuff. But I'll have to cut down, you know, a few dozen trees to make a big run of charcoal. Oh, good. And a temporal portal right outside. Love my neighbors. Yeah, I could probably pull the coal out now. Because there's enough fuel left over. It burns for 77 seconds. I'm just gonna wait. I don't want to feather it and then, like, have to burn extra. Alright, burn one more. Why isn't this, why isn't this melting? Up there. Oh, seriously? Seriously? Right as I pull that out? Game, please. So I left the hammer out for now, because the hammer was the one I needed the least of. Yeah, I know the more than melting, the longer it takes. It was just annoying that the minute I took 20 out, it was like, alright, we're done! And but at least I got it poured. Ow, 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 ow. Don't step on it. It's hot. Hot things are hot. Who knew? There we go. There is the last pour. Ta-da! And I still have more brown coal left over. So, let's put the currents away. And I'll put the cook pot back on. I actually really don't even have ingredients to be able to cook anything worth cooking. I'm pretty resource poor at the moment. But, friends, this is where I am going to leave off. With all the molds poured, ready to make a run of charcoal so that I can try for a bronze anvil. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story, which originally streamed live on Twitch November 2nd. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. But please keep in mind that I'm relatively new to the game, and I'm playing at my own pace and don't really need endgame spoilers. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com also has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Seraphs.